Kate Williams stood in front of her bathroom mirror and sighed. She really did not want to do this tonight. Her friend Lisa had begged her for 3 days straight to take her place on this blind date. Lisa was too scared to meet some businessman her cousin had set her up with. Kate worked double shifts at the medical station, and the last thing she wanted was to spend her free evening making small talk with a stranger. The new Geneva medical station orbited Earth like a giant white wheel. Kate had worked there for 5 years as a trauma nurse. She treated injured miners from asteroid colonies and wounded soldiers from the Outer Rim conflicts. Her job was hard, but she loved helping people. Tonight, though, she just wanted to sleep. Kate put on a simple blue dress and tied her brown hair back. She looked tired but decent enough for dinner. Lisa owed her big time for this favor. The restaurant was called Stellar View, and it sat on the observation deck of the station. Kate had never eaten there because it was too expensive for a nurse's salary. She walked through the station's corridors past shops and cafes. Other workers were heading home after their shifts. The artificial gravity felt normal under her feet. Through the large windows, she could see Earth spinning slowly below them. The blue and green planet looked peaceful from up here. Down on the surface, though, Kate knew there were problems. The human colonies were expanding fast, and some alien races were not happy about it. Kate reached the restaurant and told the host she was meeting someone named Daniel Carter. The host smiled and led her to a table by the window. Kate sat down and ordered water. She checked her watch. The mystery man was 10 minutes late. Maybe he would not show up and she could go home. Then, she saw him walking toward her table. Kate's breath caught in her throat. Daniel Carter was not what she expected at all. He was tall with dark hair and kind eyes. He wore a simple black suit, but Kate could tell it was expensive. He moved with confidence, but not arrogance. When he reached the table, he smiled, and Kate felt her heart skip. "You must be Lisa," Daniel said as he sat down. "I'm Daniel Carter. Sorry I'm late. There was an emergency at work." Kate opened her mouth to correct him but stopped. She was supposed to be Lisa tonight. Lisa had given her all the details about herself to share. Kate felt guilty about lying, but she had promised her friend. "Nice to meet you, Daniel," Kate said. "And don't worry about being late. I understand work emergencies." Daniel ordered wine, for both of them. Kate noticed his hands when he gestured. They were strong but gentle. He had a small scar on his left wrist. Kate wondered how he got it. "So Lisa, tell me about yourself," Daniel said. "Your cousin mentioned you work in healthcare." Kate relaxed a little. She could talk about her real job even if she had to pretend to be someone else. "I'm a trauma nurse at this medical station. I treat people who get hurt in space accidents or conflicts. It's demanding work, but I love helping people heal." Daniel's eyes lit up with interest. "That must be incredible work. I imagine you see all kinds of injuries from the colonies." "I do," Kate said. "Last week I treated a miner who was caught in an asteroid collapse. His leg was crushed, but we managed to save it. He was so grateful he cried. Those moments make all the long hours worth it." Daniel nodded. "I have a lot of respect for medical professionals. My company works with colonial expansion, and I know how dangerous that work can be. We rely on people like you to keep our workers safe." Kate was curious now. "What kind of company do you run?" "Carter Dynamics," Daniel said. "We specialize in terraforming technology. We take hostile planets and make them suitable for human colonies. It's challenging work, but humanity needs new worlds to grow." Kate nearly choked on her wine. Carter Dynamics was one of the biggest corporations in human space. Daniel Carter was not just some businessman. He was one of the most powerful men in the galaxy. What was he doing on a blind date with a nurse? "That sounds like important work," Kate said carefully. She did not want to seem too impressed. "It is, but it comes with costs," Daniel said quietly. 3 years ago, my wife died in a terraforming accident on Kepler-7. She was an engineer working on atmospheric processors. There was an explosion and she didn't make it out." Kate's heart went out to him. She saw grief in his eyes that he tried to hide. "I'm so sorry for your loss. That must have been devastating." "It was," Daniel said. "She left behind our daughter Amy. She's 8 now, and the light of my life. Being a single father while running a corporation is not easy, but Amy keeps me grounded. Kate smiled. She sounds wonderful. Children have a way of putting everything in perspective. They do, Daniel said. Amy actually encouraged me to try dating again. She said I was too sad all the time and needed someone to make me laugh. Their conversation flowed easily after that. Daniel was funny and smart but not condescending. He asked Kate about her work and listened to her stories with genuine interest. Kate found herself relaxing and enjoying his company. She almost forgot. She was pretending to be someone else. During dessert, Daniel's phone buzzed. He looked at it and frowned. "I'm sorry, but this is important." "It's Amy." He answered the call and Kate could hear a young girl's voice on the other end. Amy sounded upset and scared. "Dad, I had that nightmare again about the bad aliens coming to hurt us," Amy said through tears. Daniel's face softened. "It's okay, sweetheart. Remember what we talked about? The nightmares aren't real. You're safe on Earth with Grandma." Kate leaned forward without thinking. "Can I talk to her?" Daniel looked surprised, but handed her the phone. Kate spoke gently to the frightened child. "Hi, Amy. My name is Kate. I work as a nurse and I help people feel better. Do you want to know a secret about nightmares?" "Okay," Amy said in a small voice. "Nightmares are just our brains practicing being brave," Kate said. "When we dream about scary things, our minds are training us to be strong in real life. So having a nightmare actually means you're becoming braver." Amy was quiet for a moment. "Really?" "Really," Kate said. "And you know what else? Your dad told me you're the light of his life. That means you have special powers to chase away darkness." Amy giggled. "That's silly, but I like it." "Thank you, Kate." Kate handed the phone back to Daniel. He finished talking to his daughter and hung up. When he looked at Kate, there was something new in his eyes. "Thank you," he said softly. "I haven't seen Amy calm down from a nightmare that quickly in months. You have a gift with children." Kate felt warmth spread through her chest. "I just remember being scared as a kid. Sometimes you need someone to help you see things differently." Daniel paid the check and walked Kate back toward the residential section of the station. At her door, they stopped and faced each other. "I had a wonderful time tonight, Lisa," Daniel said. "Would you like to do this again?" Kate's heart raced. She wanted to see him again more than anything, but she was living a lie. How could she tell him the truth now? "I would like that," she heard herself say. Daniel smiled and kissed her cheek, softly. "I'll call you tomorrow." Kate watched him walk away and felt her world shifting. She had come tonight expecting boredom, and instead found something that felt like magic. Now she had to figure out how to tell the most important man she had ever met that she was not who he thought she was. Kate could not sleep that night. She kept thinking about Daniel and the way he smiled when she helped calm Amy. She also felt terrible about lying to him. How could she start something real with a lie? But Lisa had already given Kate's contact information to Daniel. Kate was trapped in her friend's identity. The next morning, Kate was exhausted during her shift at the medical center. She made mistakes with patient charts and dropped supplies twice. Her supervisor, Dr. Chen, noticed her distraction. "Williams, what's wrong with you today?" Dr. Chen asked. "You're usually my most focused nurse." "Sorry, doctor. I didn't sleep well," Kate said. "It won't happen again. See that it doesn't. We have wounded coming in from the Proxima border. 3 soldiers were injured in a skirmish with alien raiders. They'll need your best work." Kate pushed thoughts of Daniel aside and focused on her job. The wounded soldiers arrived an hour later. 2 had laser burns and 1 had a broken arm from falling debris. Kate worked quickly to clean their wounds and prepare them for surgery. One soldier was barely 18 and reminded her of Amy. "Hey there, soldier," Kate said gently as she cleaned his arm wound. "What's your name?" "Private Jake Morrison, ma'am," the young man said through gritted teeth. "Is it bad?" "You'll be fine," Kate assured him. "Just a flesh wound. You'll have a cool scar to show off, though." Jake smiled despite his pain. "My mom always said scars are proof you survived something difficult." Kate thought about Daniel's scar on his wrist. What had he survived? She wondered if she would ever learn the story behind it. After her shift, Kate found 3 messages from Daniel on her personal communicator. Her heart fluttered as she listened to them. "Hi, Lisa, I had such a wonderful time last night. I keep thinking about how you helped Amy. Would you like to have dinner again tomorrow?" The second message was more casual. "Hey, it's Daniel. I told Amy about you and she wants to meet the nice lady who helped with her nightmare. No pressure, though." The third message made Kate's chest tight. "Lisa, I hope I'm not being too forward, but I haven't felt this excited about anything in 3 years. You did something special last night. Call me when you get this." Kate stared at her communicator for 10 minutes before calling him back. Daniel answered on the first ring. "Lisa, hi," he said. His voice was warm and happy. "How was your day?" "Busy," Kate said. "I had some wounded soldiers come in from the border conflicts. It was a tough shift." "I heard about the Proxima incident," Daniel said seriously. 3 of my terraforming crews are working in that sector. Are the soldiers okay?" "They'll recover," Kate said. "But Daniel, the attacks are getting more frequent. The aliens are targeting our expansion efforts more aggressively." "I know," Daniel said quietly. "My security team briefed me this morning. The Zephyrian Empire is organizing the raids. They don't want humans claiming more worlds." Kate felt a chill. The Zephyrians were the most powerful alien alliance in known space. If they were behind the attacks, things could get much worse. "Are your crews safe?" Kate asked. "For now," Daniel said. "But I'm worried. These raids are testing our defenses. I think they're planning something bigger." Kate wanted to comfort him, but she was just a nurse. What could she say about galactic politics? Then she remembered she was supposed to be Lisa, who worked in administration. "Maybe we shouldn't talk about such heavy things," Kate said. "You mentioned Amy wanted to meet me?" Daniel's voice brightened immediately. "She does. She keeps asking about the nice lady from the phone. Would you like to have dinner at my place tomorrow? I could cook and Amy could join us." Kate's heart raced. Meeting his daughter felt like a big step, but she wanted to see them both again. "I would love that," Kate said. "Great, I'll send you my address. Fair warning, though, Amy will probably ask you a million questions. She's very curious about everything." "I don't mind," Kate said. "Curious children are the best kind." After they hung up, Kate felt excited and terrified. She was falling for Daniel fast, but every moment made the lie harder to maintain. She needed to tell him the truth soon. The next evening, Kate took a shuttle to Daniel's residence in the executive section of the station. His apartment was huge compared to her small quarters. The living room had a real window that showed a perfect view of Earth. Amy was waiting by the door when Kate arrived. "Are you Kate?" Amy asked shyly. She had Daniel's dark hair and bright, curious eyes. "I am," Kate said, kneeling down to Amy's level. "And you must be the brave girl I talked to on the phone." Amy giggled. "Daddy says you're really smart and nice. He's been happy all day." Daniel appeared from the kitchen wearing casual clothes and an apron. He looked different than the powerful businessman from the restaurant. He looked like a normal dad cooking dinner for his family. "Hi, Lisa," he said, kissing Kate's cheek. "Welcome to our home." "Thank you for having me," Kate said. "It smells wonderful in here." "Daddy is making his special pasta," Amy announced. "It's my favorite." And he made chocolate cake for dessert. Dinner was perfect. Amy chattered about school and her friends while Daniel served them homemade pasta with vegetables. Kate felt like she belonged here with them. The conversation was easy and comfortable. Amy showed Kate her drawings and told her about the books she was reading. "Kate, do you have any kids?" Amy asked during dessert. "No, sweetie, I don't," Kate said. "But I love children. I always wanted to be a mom someday." "Maybe you could be my new mom," Amy said innocently. "Daddy needs someone to take care of him, and I think you're nice." Daniel turned red and started to apologize, but Kate laughed. "That's very sweet, Amy. Your dad is lucky to have such a caring daughter." After dinner, Amy showed Kate her room, which was filled with stuffed animals and space toys. Kate read her a bedtime story about brave astronauts exploring new worlds. Amy fell asleep holding Kate's hand. Daniel and Kate sat on his couch afterward, drinking coffee and talking quietly. Earth rotated slowly outside the window, casting blue light across the room. "I'm sorry about what Amy said," Daniel said. "She's been asking about me dating for months. I think she misses having a mother figure." "Don't apologize," Kate said. "She's a wonderful child. You're doing an amazing job raising her." "Some days I don't feel like it," Daniel admitted. "Balancing work and parenting is harder than terraforming planets. At least planets don't have nightmares or need help with homework." Kate laughed. "But planets don't give you hugs or tell you they love you either." "True," Daniel said, smiling. "Amy is my whole world. Losing her mother nearly destroyed me, but Amy kept me going. She's the reason I wake up every day." Kate felt tears in her eyes. She's lucky to have a father who loves her so much. Daniel reached over and took Kate's hand. "I haven't felt this comfortable with anyone since my wife died. There's something about you, Lisa, that makes everything feel possible again." Kate's heart broke a little. He was falling for someone who didn't exist. She had to tell him the truth, but not tonight. Tonight she wanted to hold on to this perfect moment a little longer. "I feel the same way," she whispered. Daniel moved closer and kissed her softly. Kate melted into his arms, feeling like she had found something she didn't know she was looking for. When they broke apart, Daniel rested his forehead against hers. "I know this is moving fast," he said, "but I can't help how I feel." "Neither can I," Kate said truthfully. They sat together in comfortable silence, watching Earth turn below them. Kate knew her time as Lisa was running out. Soon she would have to choose between the truth and the most wonderful thing that had ever happened to her. But for now, she just wanted to stay in Daniel's arms and pretend everything was real. Kate woke up in Daniel's arms on his couch. Sunlight from Earth was streaming through the window. She had fallen asleep during their movie the night before. Daniel was still sleeping peacefully beside her. Kate watched him for a moment, feeling her heart ache. She cared about him more than she had ever cared about anyone. The lie was eating her alive. Her communicator buzzed with an emergency message from the medical center. Kate carefully slipped out of Daniel's arms and checked the message. Her blood ran cold. Multiple casualties were incoming from a raid on the Centauri medical station. 15 wounded soldiers and 3 civilian doctors were being transported to her station. Kate kissed Daniel's forehead gently. He stirred and opened his eyes. "Good morning, beautiful," he said sleepily. "Did you sleep okay?" "I have to go," Kate said sadly. "There's been an attack on Centauri Station. I'm needed at the medical center." Daniel sat up immediately awake. "Centauri was attacked? That's only 2 sectors away. Are there many casualties?" 15 soldiers and 3 doctors, Kate said, grabbing her jacket. "I don't know how bad their injuries are yet." "Be careful," Daniel said, standing to kiss her goodbye. "If the attacks are moving closer to Earth, things are getting serious." Kate ran to the medical center and arrived as the first shuttle was landing. Dr. Chen met her at the trauma bay doors. "Williams, thank God you're here," Dr. Chen said. "This is bad. The aliens use some kind of new weapon. The wounds are unlike anything we've seen before." Kate scrubbed in quickly and entered the trauma bay. What she saw made her stomach turn. The soldiers had burns that seemed to eat through their flesh even after the initial injury. The wounds were spreading like they were still being attacked by invisible fire. "What kind of weapon does this?" Kate asked as she began treating a young sergeant. "Intelligence thinks it's some kind of biological laser," Dr. Chen said, working on another patient. "It leaves traces of alien bacteria that continue destroying tissue after impact." Kate had never seen anything like it. The sergeant she was treating was barely conscious. His entire left arm was being consumed by the spreading burn. Kate worked frantically to clean the wound and stop the infection, but traditional treatments were not working. "Doctor, we're losing him," Kate called out. Dr. Chen came over and examined the wound. His face was grim. "We may have to amputate. It's the only way to stop the spread." Kate felt sick. This soldier was barely 20 years old. There had to be another way. She studied the wound pattern carefully. The bacteria seemed to feed on human proteins, but maybe there was something they couldn't digest. Wait, Kate said. What if we flush the wound with synthetic plasma? The bacteria might not be able to process artificial proteins. It's worth trying, Dr. Chen agreed. We don't have many options left. Kate quickly prepared a synthetic plasma solution and began flushing the wound. Miraculously, the spreading stopped. The bacteria seemed confused by the artificial proteins and began dying off. Within an hour, the soldier was stable. Brilliant work, Williams, Dr. Chen said. You may have just saved 15 lives. Kate felt proud, but also terrified. If the aliens had weapons like this, what else were they planning? She worked for 12 hours straight treating all the wounded. By the time she finished, she was exhausted, but all 15 soldiers would survive. Kate was leaving the medical center when her communicator buzzed. It was Daniel. Hey, how did it go? He asked. I've been worried about you all day. It was tough, but everyone will be okay, Kate said. Daniel, I saw something today that scared me. The aliens are using biological weapons now. The attacks are getting more sophisticated. I know, Daniel said grimly. I spent the day in security briefings. The situation is worse than the public knows. The Zephyrian Empire has formed a coalition with 3 other alien races. They're planning coordinated attacks on human colonies. Kate felt cold despite the warm corridor. How do you know this? Corporate intelligence, Daniel said. My company has contracts with the military. We're being asked to accelerate terraforming projects to establish more secure bases for human forces. This is really happening, isn't it? Kate said. We're going to war. I'm afraid so, Daniel said softly. Lisa, I need to tell you something. My work is about to become very dangerous. If you want to step back from this relationship, I would understand. Kate's heart broke. He was trying to protect her, but he didn't know she was already in danger every day at the medical center. She was probably more exposed to the war than he was. I'm not going anywhere, Kate said firmly. We'll face whatever comes together. Are you sure? Daniel asked. Amy has already lost her mother. I couldn't bear for her to lose you too. Kate felt tears in her eyes. I'm sure, Daniel. I care about both of you too much to walk away now. I love you, Lisa, Daniel said quietly. Kate's heart stopped. Those 3 words changed everything. She loved him too, but he didn't even know her real name. I love you too, she whispered. After they hung up, Kate sat in her quarters staring at the wall. The war was coming, and she was falling, deeper in love with a man who thought she was someone else. She had to tell him the truth soon. But first she needed to talk to Lisa. Kate found Lisa at their usual coffee shop near the residential section. Lisa was excited to hear about Kate's dates with Daniel. He sounds perfect, Lisa gushed. I'm so glad you went instead of me. I would have been too nervous to even talk to him. Lisa, there's a problem, Kate said seriously. I'm falling in love with him, and he's falling in love with me. But he thinks I'm you. Lisa's face fell. Oh no, what are you going to do? I have to tell him the truth, Kate said, but I'm scared he'll hate me for lying. Maybe he'll understand, Lisa said hopefully. You didn't mean for this to happen. Or maybe he'll think I'm just another person trying to use his wealth and power, Kate said. Rich men probably get lied to all the time. But you're not lying to use him, Lisa pointed out. You're lying because I was too scared to go on the date myself. Kate sighed. I hope he sees it that way. Lisa, there's something else. The war is coming and it's going to be bad. The aliens have biological weapons now. You should consider transferring to a safer station. Lisa looked scared. Are we really in that much danger? I think so, Kate said. The attacks are getting closer to Earth and more sophisticated. Medical stations will be primary targets because we treat wounded soldiers. What about you? Lisa asked. Will you transfer? Kate shook her head. I can't leave. My patients need me, and I won't abandon Daniel and Amy. This is my home now. That night, Kate lay in bed thinking about everything that had changed in just a few days. She had found love and purpose, but also danger and deception. Tomorrow she would have to make the hardest decision of her life. Tell Daniel the truth and risk losing him, or keep lying and risk losing herself. Outside her window, Earth continued its slow rotation. The blue planet looked peaceful, but Kate knew that peace was about to end. Somewhere in the darkness between the stars, alien fleets were gathering. Soon the war would reach them, and everything would change. Kate fell asleep thinking about Daniel's words. He loved her, but he loved someone who didn't exist. Tomorrow she would find out if he could love the real her too. Tomorrow she would discover if their love was strong enough to survive the truth. Kate decided to tell Daniel the truth that evening. She could not carry the lie any longer, especially after he had said he loved her. She prepared what she would say during her shift at the medical center. She would explain about Lisa being scared and how she had only meant to help a friend. She hoped Daniel would understand, but the universe had other plans. Kate was reviewing patient charts when alarms began blaring throughout the station. Emergency lights flashed red as the intercom crackled to life. All personnel to emergency stations. We are under attack. This is not a drill. Kate's heart raced as she ran to the trauma center. Through the corridor windows, she could see explosions lighting up space around the station. Alien ships had somehow penetrated Earth's defense grid. The war had come to them. Dr. Chen was already organizing the medical staff when Kate arrived. Williams, we need all trauma teams ready. This attack is coordinated with ground forces. They're hitting multiple targets simultaneously. Kate quickly prepared surgical equipment as the first wave of casualties arrived. But these were not soldiers. They were civilians from the residential section that had been hit by alien weapons. Kate's blood went cold when she realized Daniel and Amy lived in that section. She tried calling Daniel, but all communications were jammed. Kate forced herself to focus on her patients, but part of her mind was screaming with worry. A young mother came in with severe burns covering half her body. Kate worked to stabilize her while fighting back tears. This woman looked like she could be Amy's teacher or neighbor. My daughter, the woman whispered through her pain. Where is my daughter? We'll find her, Kate promised, though she had no idea how. Just focus on staying strong. For 3 hours, Kate treated a steady stream of wounded civilians. Burns, broken bones, laser wounds, and worse. The alien biological weapons were being used against innocent families. Kate had never felt such anger and helplessness at the same time. Then she heard a voice that made her heart stop. Kate! Kate, help us! Amy Carter was stumbling into the trauma center supporting her father, who was unconscious and bleeding. Amy's left arm was twisted at an unnatural angle and tears streamed down her face. But she had somehow managed to help Daniel walk through the station corridors to find Kate. Kate dropped everything and ran to them. Amy, sweetheart, what happened? Where are you hurt? The building shook and Daddy fell. Amy sobbed. Something hit my arm, but Daddy won't wake up. I remembered you work here, so I brought him to you. Kate carefully examined Amy's arm. It was broken, but not severely. Daniel, however, had a serious head injury and was barely breathing. Kate's medical training took over, even as her heart was breaking. Amy, you were so brave bringing Daddy here, Kate said as she called for Dr. Chen. We're going to take good care of both of you. Dr. Chen arrived, and they quickly moved Daniel to surgery while Kate stayed with Amy. The little girl clung to Kate's hand as a junior doctor set her broken arm. Is Daddy going to die like Mommy did? Amy asked quietly. Kate knelt beside the medical bed and took Amy's good hand. No, sweetheart. Your daddy has a strong heart and something very important to live for. He has you, and he loves you more than anything in the universe. He loves you too, Amy said. He told me so. He said you make him happy again. Kate felt tears she had been holding back start to fall. I love both of you very much, Amy. Your daddy is going to be fine, because I won't let anything happen to him. Amy's surgery went well, but Daniel's was more complicated. Kate paced outside the operating room for 2 hours while Dr. Chen worked to relieve pressure on Daniel's brain. Finally, the doctor emerged looking tired but relieved. He'll live, Doctor, Chen said. But he'll need time to recover. The injury was serious. Kate spent the next week at Daniel's bedside while Amy recovered in the pediatric ward. The attack had been repelled, but the station was heavily damaged. Many families had been relocated to safer facilities closer to Earth's surface. Kate refused to leave Daniel's side. Amy visited her father every day with her arm in a bright pink cast. She drew him pictures and told him stories, even though he was still unconscious. Kate was amazed by the little girl's strength and optimism. "Kate," Amy said on the fourth day, "when Daddy wakes up, are you going to marry him?" Kate nearly choked on her coffee. "Why do you ask that, sweetheart?" "Because you love each other and you take care of us like family," Amy said matter-of-factly. "And I want you to be my new mommy." Kate's heart melted. "Amy, I would be honored to be part of your family someday, but that's something your daddy and I would need to talk about." "When he wakes up, I'll tell him to ask you," Amy declared. "He's too slow about important things." Kate laughed despite everything. Amy had her father's determination and intelligence, but with a child's directness. On the sixth day, Daniel finally opened his eyes. Kate was reading to him when his hand squeezed hers weakly. "Lisa?" he said groggily. Kate's heart clenched. She still had not told him the truth and now seemed like the worst possible time. He was injured and vulnerable. But she also could not keep lying to the man she loved. "I'm here," she said softly. "You're safe. Amy is safe too." Daniel tried to sit up, but Kate gently pushed him back down. "Easy, you have a serious head injury. You need to rest." "Amy," Daniel said with panic in his voice. "Where is she? Is she okay?" "She's fine," Kate assured him. "Broken arm, but she's been taking care of you. She brought you to me when you were hurt. She was incredibly brave." Daniel's eyes filled with tears. "I remember the explosion, but everything after that is fuzzy. Amy saved my life." "She saved both our lives," Kate said. "I don't know what I would have done if I had lost either of you." Daniel reached up and touched Kate's face. "I love you so much. When I was unconscious, all I could think about was how I never got to properly propose to you." Kate's breath caught. "Daniel, you're still recovering. We don't need to talk about big decisions right now." "Yes, we do," Daniel said, struggling to sit up. "Life is too short and too dangerous. I almost died without telling you how much you mean to me." Amy chose that moment to bounce into the room with her cast covered in colorful drawings. "Daddy, you're awake. Kate has been taking care of you every day. I told her she should marry you." Daniel laughed despite his headache. "Did you now? And what did Kate say?" "She said you have to ask her properly," Amy reported. "So ask her daddy." Daniel looked at Kate with such love in his eyes that she felt her resolve crumble. How could she tell him the truth now when he was injured and vulnerable? But how could she say yes to a proposal meant for someone else? "Lisa," Daniel said, taking her hand. "I know this isn't the most romantic setting, but I can't wait any longer. Will you marry me? Will you be Amy's mother and my wife?" Kate looked at Daniel's hopeful face and Amy's excited expression. These two people had become her whole world. She loved them more than her own life. But they were in love with a lie. "Daniel," she began carefully, "there's something I need to tell you first. Something important about who I really am." But before she could continue, alarms began blaring again. Red lights flashed as the intercom announced another attack. Through the window, Kate could see alien ships approaching the station. "All medical personnel report to emergency stations immediately," the voice commanded. Kate looked at Daniel and Amy with her heart breaking. The truth would have to wait again. Right now, her patients needed her, and her family needed protection. "We'll talk when this is over," she promised, kissing Daniel's forehead. "I love you both so much." Kate ran toward the trauma center, knowing that the hardest conversation of her life was still waiting for her. But first, she had to help save lives and protect the people she loved from the growing war that threatened to destroy everything they had built together. The second attack was even worse than the first. Kate worked for 18 hours straight, treating casualties from multiple stations that had been hit simultaneously. The aliens were targeting medical facilities, schools, and civilian areas. It was clear they wanted to break human morale by attacking non-military targets. Daniel recovered quickly from his injury, thanks to Kate's constant care and Amy's cheerful visits. Within a week, he was back on his feet, though Kate insisted he take things slowly. The family had grown even closer during the crisis. Amy now called Kate her space mom without any hesitation, and Daniel talked openly about their future together. Kate still had not found the right moment to tell Daniel the truth. Every time she tried to bring it up, another emergency would interrupt them. Part of her wondered if the universe was trying to tell her something. Maybe the truth was less important than the love they shared. That changed when official orders arrived from Earth Command. Mr. Carter and Ms. Morgan, please report to Conference Room Alpha immediately. The message read, Priority 1 clearance required. Kate stared at the message in confusion. Ms. Morgan was Lisa's last name. Somehow, Earth Command thought she was Lisa Morgan, not Kate Williams. The lie had spread beyond their personal relationship into official government records. Daniel was equally puzzled. Why would they want to meet with you? Your administrative work shouldn't require military clearance. Kate's stomach twisted. I don't know. Maybe it's a mistake. But it was not a mistake. When they arrived at the conference room, Kate found herself face-to-face with Admiral Johnson, the head of Earth's military forces, and General Martinez, who commanded colonial defense. The room was filled with other corporate leaders, military officers, and civilian specialists. Mr. Carter, thank you for coming, Admiral Johnson said, and Ms. Morgan, we're grateful you could join us despite your recent injuries. Kate opened her mouth to correct him, but Admiral Johnson continued before she could speak. Ladies and gentlemen, we are facing the greatest threat in human history, the Admiral announced. The Zephyrian Empire has convinced 4 other alien races to join their war against humanity. We estimate their combined forces outnumber ours 3-1. The room fell silent. Kate felt Daniel reach for her hand under the table. However, General Martinez added, we have advantages they do not. Our medical technology is superior to anything in known space. Our terraforming capabilities allow us to establish bases faster than any other species. And most importantly, we have something they lack. What's that? Someone asked. We fight for each other, the general said simply. Humans will sacrifice everything to protect their families and communities. The alien alliance is held together by politics and fear. Our unity comes from love. Admiral Johnson activated a holographic display showing the galaxy. Red dots marked alien fleet positions, while blue dots showed human colonies and military bases. Mr. Carter, the Admiral said, we need your terraforming technology adapted for military purposes. Can your atmospheric processors be modified to create hostile environments for alien species? Daniel studied the display carefully. Theoretically, yes. But that would mean weaponizing technology designed to create life, not destroy it. We're not asking you to destroy planets, General Martinez clarified. We need to make them temporarily uninhabitable for alien biology, while remaining safe for humans. Think of it as biological area denial. Kate watched Daniel struggle with the decision. She knew he had built his company to help humanity expand and grow, not to wage war. Ms. Morgan, Admiral Johnson said, turning to Kate, your medical expertise is equally important. Our intelligence indicates you successfully treated soldiers wounded by alien biological weapons. We need you to develop countermeasures and train other medical personnel. Kate's heart raced. They thought she was Lisa, who worked in medical administration. They had no idea she was actually a trauma nurse with hands-on experience. Sir, I should clarify, Kate began. I'm not exactly who you think I am. Ms. Morgan, your modesty is unnecessary, the Admiral interrupted. We know about your innovative treatment protocols and your success rate with alien weapon injuries. Dr. Chen spoke very highly of your work. Kate realized Dr. Chen must have filed reports using Lisa's name by mistake when Kate was treating the wounded soldiers. The paperwork mix-up had created a false identity that now had official government recognition. We're forming a joint military-civilian task force, General Martinez explained. Mr. Carter will head industrial adaptation, while Ms. Morgan leads medical countermeasures. Time is critical. Our intelligence suggests the alien alliance will launch their main offensive within 6 months. The meeting continued for 3 more hours, as they discussed strategy, resources, and timelines. Kate found herself drawn into detailed conversations about alien biology and weapon effects. Her real experience as a trauma nurse made her contributions valuable, even though everyone thought she was someone else. When the meeting finally ended, Kate and Daniel walked back to his quarters in stunned silence. Amy was staying with Daniel's mother on Earth for safety, so they had the apartment to themselves. "I can't believe they want me to turn my life's work into a weapon," Daniel said, sitting heavily on his couch. "But you're not making weapons," Kate pointed out. "You're making shields. Your technology could protect human colonies from alien attacks by making entire worlds toxic to alien life," Daniel said. "It still feels wrong." Kate sat beside him and took his hand. "Daniel, the aliens are using biological weapons against civilians. They attacked a medical station and nearly killed your daughter. Sometimes we have to do difficult things to protect the people we love." Daniel looked at her with amazement. "How did I get so lucky to find someone who understands both the burden of difficult decisions and the importance of protecting family?" Kate's heart ached. He was falling deeper in love with someone who did not exist. She had to tell him the truth, especially now that their false relationship was affecting military planning. "Daniel, there's something I have to tell you," Kate said carefully. "Something I should have told you weeks ago." Before she could continue, Daniel's communicator buzzed with an urgent message. Amy's school on Earth was being evacuated due to a terrorist threat. Daniel went pale as he read the details. "They think there might be alien sympathizers planning an attack on the school," Daniel said, grabbing his jacket. "I have to go get Amy." "I'm coming with you," Kate said. "No," Daniel said firmly. "It's too dangerous. Besides, you have military meetings tomorrow about the medical protocols. The war effort needs you here." Kate wanted to argue, but she knew he was right. Her work could save thousands of lives. She had to stay and do her job even though every instinct screamed at her to protect the family she loved. "Be careful," she said, kissing Daniel goodbye. "Bring our girl home safe." "I will," Daniel promised. "And Lisa, when I get back we need to talk about the future. I want us to get married as soon as possible. This war has shown me that life is too precious to waste time waiting." Kate watched him leave and felt her world crashing down around her. Daniel wanted to marry her, but he did not even know her real name. The war was forcing her to work under a false identity that was becoming more entrenched every day. Soon, she would be so deep in the lie that the truth would destroy not just their relationship, but also the war effort that depended on their combined expertise. Kate sat alone in Daniel's apartment looking out at Earth and wondering how love could be so wonderful and so complicated at the same time. Tomorrow she would help plan humanity's medical defense against alien weapons. But tonight she just wanted to be Kate Williams, a simple nurse who had fallen in love with a man who thought she was someone else. The war was forcing impossible choices on everyone. Kate just hoped that when it was over there would still be something left of the love that had made her feel like she could face anything the universe threw at them. Daniel returned from Earth 3 days later with Amy safe in his arms. The terrorist threat had been real, but Earth security had stopped the attack before anyone was hurt. Kate had never been so relieved to see both of them again. Amy hugged Kate tightly and declared she never wanted to be separated from her space mom again. But Daniel was different when he came back. The military had briefed him on classified intelligence during his trip to Earth. What he learned had shaken him deeply. "The alien alliance is larger than we thought," Daniel told Kate privately that evening after Amy was asleep. "They have biological weapons that can destroy entire planetary ecosystems. If they use them on Earth, millions will die." Kate felt cold despite the warm apartment. "What does Earth Command want you to do?" Daniel was quiet for a long moment. "They want me to weaponize my terraforming technology. Not just for area denial, but for offensive strikes. They want to turn my atmospheric processors into planet killers." Kate stared at him in shock. "They want you to destroy alien worlds?" "Selected military targets," Daniel said, but his voice was hollow. "Worlds with weapon factories or fleet bases. They say it's the only way to stop the biological weapons before they reach Earth." Kate thought about the wounded soldiers she had treated, and the burns that ate through human flesh like acid. She imagined that same weapon used against Earth's Cities against Amy's school against innocent families. What did you tell them? Kate asked. I said I needed time to think, Daniel replied. But they're not giving me much. They want an answer by tomorrow. Kate could see the conflict tearing Daniel apart. His wife had died in a terraforming accident caused by his technology. Now the military wanted him to turn that same technology into a weapon of mass destruction. What does your heart tell you? Kate asked gently. My heart tells me to protect Amy and you at any cost, Daniel said. But my conscience tells me that becoming like our enemies is not protection, it's damnation. They held each other in the darkness, both feeling the weight of impossible choices. Outside their window, Earth continued its peaceful rotation, unaware that its fate might depend on the decision of a grieving father and the woman who loved him. The next morning, Kate had her own meeting with Military Medical Command. Admiral Johnson wanted her to develop biological weapons based on her understanding of alien physiology. Kate was horrified by the suggestion. Sir, we're medical professionals, Kate protested. We heal people, we don't create weapons to harm them. Ms. Morgan, the aliens are not people, General Martinez said coldly. They're enemies who want to exterminate humanity. We need every advantage we can get. But if we start creating biological weapons, how are we different from them? Kate asked. We're different because we're trying to survive, the Admiral replied. Sometimes survival requires difficult choices. Kate thought about Amy's innocent face and Daniel's gentle hands that built worlds instead of destroying them. She thought about all the patients she had saved and the oath she had taken to do no harm. I won't do it, Kate said firmly. I'll help develop defenses and treatments, but I won't create weapons designed to kill. The military officers were not pleased, but they could not force her to cooperate. Kate left the meeting feeling sick but also strangely proud. She had chosen to remain true to her principles even under impossible pressure. She found Daniel in his office staring at blueprints for modified atmospheric processors. Amy was coloring at a small desk in the corner, humming softly to herself. Daddy, why do you look so sad? Amy asked, looking up from her drawing. Daniel forced a smile. Just thinking about work, sweetheart. Amy walked over and climbed onto Daniel's lap. Kate says thinking too hard gives you wrinkles. Maybe you should stop thinking and start hugging instead. Kate laughed despite the tension. Amy's right. Hugs are much better medicine than worrying. Amy beamed and pulled both adults into a three-way hug. For a moment, the war and their impossible choices seemed far away. They were just a family sharing love and comfort. I made a decision, Daniel said quietly when Amy returned to her coloring. I'm going to refuse the military contract. Kate felt relief flood through her. Are you sure? They won't be happy. I'm sure, Daniel said. If I turn my technology into a planet killer, I become everything I've fought against. Amy deserves a father she can be proud of, not one who destroys worlds. What will you tell them? Kate asked. The truth, Daniel said. That there has to be a better way. That humanity's strength comes from building and healing, not destroying. Kate felt tears in her eyes. I love you so much, Daniel. I love who you are and the choices you make even when they're difficult. I love you too, Lisa, Daniel said. We'll face whatever consequences come together. Kate's heart clenched at the name Lisa. She still had not told Daniel the truth, and every day made it harder. But how could she add more stress to his life when he was already carrying so much weight? That afternoon, Daniel met with Admiral Johnson and formally refused to weaponize his terraforming technology. The Admiral was furious and threatened to seize Daniel's company under wartime authority. Daniel stood firm in his decision. Then we'll develop our own weapons, Admiral Johnson said, coldly. And if Earth falls because we lack the tools to defend ourselves, the blood will be on your hands. Daniel came home that evening looking exhausted and defeated. Amy ran to greet him with a picture she had drawn of their family standing on a beautiful green planet. Look, Daddy, Amy said proudly. It's us on one of your worlds. You made it pretty, just like you make everything better. Daniel knelt down and hugged his daughter tightly. Kate saw tears in his eyes as he looked at Amy's innocent artwork. Did I do the right thing? Daniel asked Kate later when Amy was asleep. What if the Admiral is right? What if refusing to make weapons costs us the war? Kate took his hands in hers. Daniel, you did the only thing you could do and still be the man Amy and I fell in love with. Your wife didn't die so you could become a destroyer of worlds. She died believing in your dream of creating new homes for humanity. But what if that's not enough? Daniel asked. What if love and principles can't stop biological weapons and planet killers? Kate thought about all the patients she had saved through compassion and skill. She thought about the bonds between humans that made them fight harder for each other than any alien alliance fought for conquest. Then we find another way, Kate said firmly. We find a way that doesn't require us to become monsters. We find a way that Amy can be proud of. Daniel kissed Kate softly. How did I find someone who always knows exactly what I need to hear? Kate's heart broke a little more. He trusted her completely, but that trust was built on a lie. Soon she would have to tell him the truth and risk losing everything. But tonight she just wanted to hold him and pretend their love was as simple and honest as Amy's drawing of their family on a distant world. Outside their window the war continued, and impossible choices waited for everyone. But inside their apartment love and family provided shelter from the storm, even if that shelter was built on foundations that might not survive the truth. Kate threw herself into medical research after Daniel's refusal to weaponize his technology. If they would not win the war through destruction, then they would have to find another path. Kate spent every free moment studying alien biology and developing new treatment protocols for the biological weapons that were devastating human forces. Her breakthrough came from an unexpected source. A wounded alien prisoner was brought to the medical station after a failed raid on a supply convoy. The creature was dying from its own weapon backfire, and Kate found herself treating an enemy who looked terrifyingly human-like, despite its scaled skin and extra limbs. Why are you helping it? Dr. Chen asked as Kate worked to stabilize the alien's vital signs. Because that's what we do, Kate said simply. We heal whoever needs healing. As Kate studied the alien's biology, she made a startling discovery. The biological weapons the aliens used were actually modified versions of their own healing technology. They had taken something designed to repair tissue and reversed it to destroy flesh instead. Dr. Chen, look at this, Kate called excitedly. The weapon residue contains healing proteins that have been chemically inverted. If we can figure out how to reinvert them, we might be able to turn their weapons against themselves. Kate worked for days developing a compound that could neutralize alien biological weapons by restoring their original healing properties. But she needed to test it, and the only available subject was the alien prisoner who was still recovering from his injuries. You want to experiment on a prisoner? Dr. Chen asked skeptically. I want to save his life, Kate corrected. He's dying from weapon poisoning. This treatment could cure him completely. Kate administered her experimental compound to the alien despite protests from military security. Within hours, the creature's condition improved dramatically. Not only did the treatment cure his weapon poisoning, but it accelerated healing of his other injuries as well. When the alien prisoner woke up, he stared at Kate with large yellow eyes filled with confusion and something that might have been gratitude. Why? The creature asked in broken human speech. Why heal enemy? Because healing is what we do, Kate said gently. It's who we are. The alien was quiet for a long moment. My name is Keth. I am weapons engineer for Zephyrian Fleet. You saved life when I came to destroy yours. Kate felt a chill. This creature had helped design the weapons that were killing human soldiers and civilians, but looking at him now injured and confused, she saw only another being in need of care. Keth, Kate said carefully, would you be willing to help me understand how your biological weapons work? Not to make new ones, but to develop better defenses against them? Keth studied Kate with those alien eyes. You treat me with honor when I deserve death. This is not what we were told about humans. What were you told? Kate asked. That humans are destroyers who consume worlds and leave nothing behind, Keth said slowly. That you have no honor or compassion for other species. Kate thought about Daniel's terraforming technology that turned barren rocks into gardens. She thought about the human colonies that coexisted peacefully with native species on dozens of worlds. That's not true, Kate said. Humans want to build and grow and heal. We expand because we love life, not because we want to destroy it. Keth was quiet for several minutes processing this information. Finally, he spoke again. I will help you, he said. Your healing magic saved my life. I owe you life debt according to Zephyrian law. Working with Keth, Kate developed revolutionary new medical protocols. She learned that alien biological weapons targeted specific human proteins, but could be neutralized by introducing modified alien enzymes. More importantly, she discovered that the same techniques could be used to heal injuries that had previously been considered fatal. Kate's new healing compounds could regenerate tissue, restore damaged organs, and even reverse some types of paralysis. What had started as defensive research became the greatest medical breakthrough in human history. Daniel was amazed when Kate showed him her work. This is incredible, Lisa. You've essentially created medical magic. It's not magic, Kate said, excitedly. It's just understanding how different biological systems can work together instead of against each other. Like humans and aliens working together? Daniel asked thoughtfully. Exactly like that, Kate agreed. Daniel immediately offered his company's resources to mass-produce Kate's healing compounds. His factories that had been designed to create atmospheres for new worlds were perfectly suited to manufacture complex biological medicines. We can turn this into a complete medical system, Daniel said, studying the production requirements. Mobile treatment centers that can be deployed anywhere in human space. Kate had an even better idea. What if we put them on your terraforming ships? We could create mobile hospitals that travel between colonies, providing advanced medical care wherever it's needed. Daniel's eyes lit up. Flying medical cities, ships that heal worlds instead of just transforming them. They worked together for weeks designing a fleet of medical vessels equipped with Kate's healing technology and Daniel's life support systems. Each ship would be a complete hospital capable of treating thousands of patients while traveling between star systems. The first prototype was launched 2 months later. Kate stood on the bridge of the ship they had named Hope, watching Earth shrink behind them as they headed toward the front lines of the war. I can't believe we built this, Daniel said, putting his arm around Kate's waist. A year ago I was just a businessman and you were just a nurse. Now we're changing the course of a galactic war. Kate felt the familiar pang of guilt at his words. She was still living the lie about being Lisa. Every success they achieved together made it harder to tell the truth. Amy had been allowed to join them for the ship's maiden voyage. She ran around the medical bays with wonder in her eyes, asking questions about every piece of equipment. Kate, this is like a magic castle that flies through space, Amy declared. Are you and Daddy wizards? No, sweetheart, Kate laughed. We're just people who wanted to help other people feel better. That sounds like magic to me, Amy said seriously. Their first mission took them to a border colony that had been devastated by alien biological weapons. Kate and her medical team worked around the clock, treating hundreds of wounded soldiers and civilians. The new healing compounds saved lives that would have been lost just months before. But the real miracle happened when a wounded alien was brought aboard. The creature had been abandoned by its own forces after being injured in the attack. Kate treated it with the same care she would give any patient. Word of Kate's compassion spread quickly through alien communication networks. Creatures who had been told humans were heartless destroyers began to question what they had been taught. Some alien soldiers started surrendering rather than fighting to the death because they had heard humans would heal their wounds instead of executing them. This is working, Daniel told Kate as they reviewed reports from across the war zone. Your medical ships aren't just saving human lives, they're changing how aliens see us. Kate felt hope growing in her chest. Maybe there was a way to end this war without the mass destruction everyone had feared. Maybe healing really was stronger than hatred, but she knew their success was built on a foundation of lies. Soon, she would have to tell Daniel the truth about who she really was. She just hoped their love and their work would be strong enough to survive the revelation that was coming. The war ended not with explosions and conquest, but with an act of compassion that changed the galaxy forever. Kate was working in the medical bay of their flagship when emergency alarms sounded. A Zephyrian command vessel had been severely damaged in a battle with human forces and was drifting helplessly in space. All enemy survivors will be taken prisoner. Admiral Johnson's voice crackled over the communication system. Prepare boarding parties. But Kate received a different kind of transmission. The alien ship was sending a medical distress signal. Someone aboard was dying and needed immediate assistance. Daniel, Kate called over the intercom. We have to help them. Lisa, it's an enemy command ship, Daniel replied from the bridge. It could be a trap. Someone is dying, Kate said firmly. I don't care what side they're on. We have to try to save them. Daniel was quiet for a moment. Kate knew he was struggling between military protocol and the values they had built their relationship on. Finally, he spoke. Take a medical shuttle, he said. But I'm coming with you and we're bringing security. Kate assembled her best medical team and flew to the damaged alien vessel. What they found inside was devastating. The ship's life support had failed and most of the crew was already dead. But in the command chamber, they discovered a single survivor barely clinging to life. It was a young Zephyrian prince named Thane, who had been leading the fleet. He was no older than a human teenager, and his scaled skin was pale from blood loss and radiation poisoning. Kate immediately began emergency treatment while her team worked to stabilize his vital signs. He's dying, Dr. Chen said grimly. The radiation damage is too extensive. Even our new healing compounds might not be enough. Kate studied the prince's injuries carefully. She had an idea, but it was incredibly risky. She could combine her healing technology with Zephyrian medical equipment from the ship, creating a hybrid treatment that might save his life. What are you doing? Daniel asked as Kate began connecting human and alien medical devices. Something that's never been tried before, Kate said. If it works, we might save his life. If it doesn't, we could kill him faster. Why take the risk? Daniel asked. He's an enemy commander. Kate looked at the young prince who reminded her so much of the human soldiers she had treated. Young and scared and far from home fighting in a war he probably didn't fully understand. Because he's someone's son, Kate said simply. And because this is who we are. The hybrid treatment worked. Prince Thane's condition stabilized and began improving within hours. When he finally woke up 2 days later, he stared at Kate with the same confusion she had seen in Keith's eyes months before. You are human, Thane said weakly. Why do you heal? Me, because that's what we do, Kate replied. It's who we are. Prince Thane was quiet for a long time, processing this information. Finally, he spoke in a voice filled with wonder. My father told me humans were monsters who destroyed everything they touched. But you used your magic to save my life when you could have let me die. We don't want to destroy anything, Kate said gently. We want to build and grow and heal. This war doesn't have to continue. Word of Prince Thane's rescue spread through both human and alien communication networks like wildfire. The Zephyrian Empire was shocked to learn their prince was alive and being treated with honor by the humans they had been told were ruthless killers. Kate's act of compassion opened diplomatic channels that had been closed since the war began. Prince Thane himself became an advocate for peace, arguing that humans had proven their honor by saving his life when they could have taken revenge. Within weeks, a ceasefire was declared. Representatives from both sides met aboard Kate's medical ship to negotiate a permanent peace treaty. Kate found herself at the center of these discussions not as a diplomat, but as living proof that humans and aliens could work together for mutual benefit. The human healing magic could benefit all our species, Prince Thane argued to his own military leaders. We have been fighting destroyers when we should have been embracing healers. The peace negotiations lasted for 3 months. During that time, Kate continued her medical work, treating both human and alien patients side by side. She watched former enemies become colleagues and friends as they learned to see past their differences. Daniel supported the peace process by offering to share terraforming technology with alien species who wanted to establish new colonies. His company began joint projects with alien engineers creating worlds that could support multiple species simultaneously. But Kate knew she could not move forward with her new life until she resolved the lie that had started everything. She finally found the courage to tell Daniel the truth on the night before the peace treaty was signed. They were alone on the observation deck of their ship, watching stars wheel slowly past the windows. Amy was asleep in their quarters, and for once they had privacy to talk about difficult things. "Daniel," Kate said carefully, "there's something I have to tell you, something I should have told you the first night we met." Daniel turned to face her with concern in his eyes. "What is it? You look terrified." Kate took a deep breath. "I'm not Lisa Morgan. My real name is Kate Williams. I'm the trauma nurse who was supposed to replace your date that night. Lisa was too scared to meet you, so she asked me to go instead." Daniel stared at her in shock. Kate rushed to explain before he could speak. "I never meant for it to go this far. I was just doing a favor for a friend. But then I met you and Amy and fell in love with both of you. I tried to tell you the truth so many times, but there was always another crisis or emergency. I know you probably hate me now, but I couldn't marry you or sign a peace treaty while living a lie." Daniel was quiet for a long time, processing what she had told him. Kate felt her heart breaking as she waited for his response. "So, you're telling me," Daniel said slowly, "that the woman I fell in love with is actually a trauma nurse who has dedicated her life to healing people?" Kate nodded miserably. "And you're telling me that everything you've accomplished in this war came from your real experience as a medical professional, not from some administrative background?" "Yes," Kate whispered. Daniel began to laugh, not bitter or angry laughter, but genuine joy and relief. "Kate," he said, pulling her into his arms, "I fell in love with your compassion and strength and brilliant mind. I fell in love with the way you treated Amy and the way you fought to save lives even when it was dangerous. None of that was a lie. But I deceived you," Kate protested. "I let you believe I was someone else. You let me believe you were someone with a different job and a different name," Daniel corrected. "But everything that mattered was real. Your kindness to Amy was real. Your medical innovations were real. Your decision to heal enemies instead of destroying them was real." Kate felt tears streaming down her face. "So you're not angry?" "I'm relieved," Daniel said, kissing her softly. "I was starting to wonder how someone in medical administration knew so much about trauma surgery. Now everything makes sense." "Does this mean you still want to marry me?" Kate asked hopefully. Daniel dropped to one knee right there on the observation deck. "Kate Williams, will you marry me? Will you be Amy's mother and my wife and my partner in healing the galaxy?" "Yes," Kate sobbed. "Yes to everything." They were married 1 month later in a ceremony that became a symbol of the new peace between species. Prince Thane served as an honor guard while Keth designed special biological flowers that bloomed in colors never seen in nature. Amy walked down the aisle scattering petals while wearing a dress that sparkled like starlight. The wedding was held aboard their medical ship with Earth visible through the great windows. Representatives from dozens of species attended to witness the union that had helped end a galactic war. During the ceremony, Daniel spoke about love transcending differences, and Kate talked about healing bringing people together. But the moment that made everyone cry was when Amy read a poem she had written about finding a family among the stars. "Kate taught me that love is the best medicine," Amy concluded, "and Daddy taught me that building things is better than breaking them. Together they taught me that families can be made of anyone who cares about each other." After the ceremony, Kate and Daniel established the Carter Williams Foundation, dedicated to spreading medical technology and peace throughout the galaxy. Their hospital ships became symbols of hope, traveling between worlds to heal the sick and injured regardless of species. Years later, Kate would look back on that first blind date and marvel at how a simple favor for a friend had led to love, war, peace, and a new understanding between species. She had started as a nurse pretending to be someone else and ended up becoming exactly who she was meant to be. Amy grew up to become a diplomat working to maintain the peace her parents had helped create. She often told the story of how her space, mom had saved the galaxy by teaching everyone that healing was stronger than hatred. And in the quiet moments between medical emergencies and diplomatic crises, Kate and Daniel would hold each other and remember that the greatest adventures begin with simple acts of kindness. Their love had literally changed the galaxy, but it started with a frightened little girl who needed comfort during a nightmare. Kate never regretted replacing her friend on that blind date. Sometimes the best things in life come from the chances we take to help others even when we're afraid.